Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, the Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shai. So we got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders over all of Israel, whether they can accept it or not. And a sincere salutation to all the ark and pushing the truth and believing the truth throughout the four ends of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Akwak who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from GMS Orlando Camp coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification, another daily edification, Lord willing. It's be edifying. And I titled this lesson, The Least of the Flock is Drawing Them Out. That's what's going on. The least of the flock is drawing them out, man. So Lord willing, be edifying. The LDS woman put a video, or like a minute and 53 minute, a minute and 53-second clip. And he titled it, We Are Close with Kamala Harris. So when I watched it, it just sparked something in me. So I found a couple other clips to go with that. Hey, so Lord witness be edifying. Hey, cause this is where we at now, man. Prophecies is playing out. The last few prophecies we are waiting for or looking for is the RFID microchip being made mandatory. World War III. Oh, I'm sorry. Salakia. Jacob's Trouble. Right? Jacob's Trouble. The RFID microchip. And World War III, man. So Lord, let us be edified. Let me pull this first one up. So this is where we at right now, man. This was going on. Prophecies. It's speaking. That's why the Lord said in Isaiah 34 that there is no other book that you can compare to this Bible. Right? And they tell you that these prophecies, man, there's no other book you can compare to this Bible. These prophecies are speaking. So let me make sure I'm sharing. So I'm going to play this. Hey, because when I was listening to this, when she said what she said, and I got another clip that's showing that they're talking about that the Pentagon is withdrawing troops from Israel, man. So these people, they is not on one accord, man. So check this out. Oh, let me turn this volume down. These people is not on one accord, man. Let's turn this volume down. The Lord witness be edifying.
In the midst of uncertainty and turmoil, America's support for Israel's security must be rock solid.
So, Lucky, let me turn it up. Let me turn the volume up a little bit. Sometimes be echoing, so I try to make sure I got the right tone. Let me put it on. So, Lucky.
In the midst of uncertainty and turmoil, America's support for Israel's security must be rock solid. And as Iran continues to launch ballistic missiles, while it arms and funds its terrorist proxy Hezbollah, we must stand with Israel. As Hamas maintains its control of Gaza and fires rockets across Israel's southern border, we must stand with Israel. And as ISIS and civil war in Syria destabilize the region, displacing millions and threatening shared security interests, We must support all those affected by ongoing violence and terror, and we must stand with Israel. Our defense relationship is critical to both nations, which is why I support the United States' commitment to provide Israel with $38 billion in military assistance over the next decade.
And Israel have always been the biggest welfare case to North America, man.
It is why I support full funding for Israel, including for the Arrow, David Sling, and the Iron Dome missile defense systems, which save lives.
This is for educational purposes only. This is not for monetary gain. I do not own a copyright to these videos. This is for educational purposes only.
And that's why I am fully committing to maintaining Israel's qualitative military edge.
Now you see that? Nah, when I watched this, Elder Yashwama put this up on this channel. When I seen that, I went and found some more clips. So let's play this. Hey, these devils not on one accord, man. Hey, the least of the flock. Now this is let me play this one first. I got two more. They ain't that long, they short. So when I saw that, this here popped up. So lock it for the
meet your next pillow.
Just lock it for the
Want to make our pillow in the shape of a cube? I'll tell you.
Oh good, it ain't even
The
showing
following
yet.
pillow so that you're trying to fit a round peg into a square hole.
So let me come back to me because it wasn't even showing. So I'm looking at her like she talking about we must stand with Israel. Okay. Hey, that's prophecy, man. Now I'm sure y'all seen the one with this guy Putin said that they need to put an end to that. So check this out. This one here titled Global Leaders Give Mixed Reactions on Israel-Palestine Conflict.
There is a war brewing in West Asia and the world is keeping a close eye on it. Both Hamas and Israel seem dead set on a path of destruction. In this climate, the world community will have to play peace broker. So how have they reacted so far? We start with Israel's top ally, the United States. President Biden spoke to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday. He backed Israel's right to defend itself against Hamas's attacks. And at the same time, his administration is calling for immediate de-escalation. The State Department has also dispatched a special envoy to calm the tensions.
And I had a conversation with Bibi Netanyahu not too long ago. I'll be putting out a statement very shortly on that. My expectation and hope is that this will be closing down sooner than later. But Israel has a right to defend itself when you have thousands of rockets flying into your territory. But I had a conversation for a while with the Prime Minister of Israel, and I think that my hope is that we'll see this coming to conclusion sooner than later.
Russia, too, has urged de-escalation. Moscow wants Israel to stop its settlement expansion plans and reinstate status quo at Jerusalem's sacred sites. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is proposing a meeting of the West Asian Quartet. This includes the US, Russia, the European Union, and the United Nations. British Prime
See, everybody is these nations, man. They ain't with what's going on right now. But when you read Revelation 17 and 17, it said, hey, until the word of the Lord be fulfilled, man, they got to give their power to the beast. But the more you stay under somebody that's wicked and you don't have no choice, eventually something gonna happen, man.
Minister Boris Johnson expressed concern about the cycle of violence in Gaza. He called for an urgent de-escalation to end this trend of tit-for-tat attacks.
I think everybody's very concerned, and certainly we in the UK are very sad to see.
Now look, this is why I want this. Hey, I would like call all you how about your mama shot for this. Now this is Boris Johnson, right? Prime Minister for Britain. Now Britain done got into the action. Why? It's prophecy. Real quick. Listen to this. Hey, this thing is playing out, man. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 in verse 12. Your mother shall be sore confounded, she that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. The point, your mother shall be sore confounded, she that bare you shall be ashamed. Who bare Babylon the Great? Great Britain, man. So now, Britain like, hold on, we need to fix this, man. If you got Putin saying they need to do something, they need to bring this to a halt, man. Hey, it's a problem, man.
What is happening, and the cycle of violence that now seems to be taking place. And I think it's important that we break that cycle and we end this idea of reprisals. And I think that what everybody wants to see is urgent de-escalation.
Now, the sentiment is similar in the rest of Europe as well. US President Charles Michel discussed the situation with Israeli President. He too called for an immediate de-escalation to prevent further loss of lives. Member states like Germany have sought to strike a balance by affirming Israel's right to self-defense. In the Islamic world, support is coming in thick and fast for Palestine. The OIC, or the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, condemned Israeli attacks. It also rejected the resettlement plans in the West Bank.
You see?
Turkey has asked Muslim nations to take a firm stand. President Erdogan wants the global community to teach Israel a stern lesson.
To teach Israel a stern lesson, man. This is why Babylon the Great's army will be drawn out, man.
King Salman of Saudi Arabia too voiced his support for the Palestinian people. He was discussing the Israeli offensive with Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan. Saudi rival Iran has asked Palestine to build up power to halt, quote-unquote, Israeli brutality. Tehran believes Israel only understands the language of power. The new offensive in Gaza has successfully united the Islamic world against Israel. Now, some of the world agencies too have chimed in with reactions. United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres confirmed his willingness to engage the West Asian Quartet. He was speaking to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, the International Criminal Court is looking into possible war crimes in East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip.
You see that? So now you got Israeli and the Palestinians, right? Well, who are the Palestinians, man? Who are the Palestinians? And if you understand, Iran and Turkey, all these nations have a part in this play out, man. They ain't gonna, especially Iran, man. They ain't gonna sit by and let these Israelis go back and forth with these Palestinians, man, when those are their people, man. Well, you got not those, the Saudi Arabia, right? Because Saudi Arabia in this too. And this next clip I got is well, I'm just gonna play it. You got these Arabs, and you got the Ishmaelites and the Elamites, right? With these Edomites, man. They all in the, hey, it's finna bring about war, man. This is last clip I got. And when I saw the clip that Elder Yashua put up, now this one say U.S. considers pulling military personnel from Israel. But you got this chick, Kamala Harris, talking about we're going to stand with Israel. So check this out.
Come to us. Fox News alert: the Israeli military executes airstrikes in Gaza, reportedly targeting a Hamas tunnel network. As conflict escalates overnight, the Pentagon mulling 120 military personnel being pulled out of that region in a, quote, abundance of caution. Here to react, Fox News senior strategic analyst and retired four-star general Jack Keane. General, thanks so much for being here. I want to get your reaction to both what's going on in Israel overnight and the United States response in, out of an abundance of caution, pulling personnel out.
Now you got these nations, right? These Israelis and these Ishmaelites, right? The Palestinians. Hey, they all mixed up together, man. Iran and Saudi Arabia, man. They all got interest in what's going on in Israel right now, man. That's why these nations are trying to, hey, bring everything to, and we need to de-escalate this. Because if we don't, if they continue going, which is prophecy, it's the Lord moving these chess pieces, right? These strategic chess piece moves, it's the Lord, man, right? Proverbs 21:1, the man, king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. If they don't, man, this is what's going to happen. This is going to bring them to destroy each other, man. So Salaki, let's listen to this.
Well, I certainly understand getting our people out of harm's way. And obviously, this is a very challenging situation that's taking place here in Israel. The phase that we're in now, that Israel is facing, is they clearly, in the words of Prime Minister Netanyahu, he wants Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Those are the two terrorist organizations that are firing the rockets and the missiles. He wants them to pay a price for this, much as they did back in 2014, when he not only conducted airstrikes, but also made a ground assault into Gaza. He's moved those ground troops up closer to the Gaza border, as you have indicated. He has not launched an attack into Gaza, and he's using those ground forces to fire their own organic artillery. And what he's trying to do in terms of pay a price, he's certainly not interested in killing any civilians, and they give civilians warnings before they conduct an attack on specific buildings. But obviously, given 2 million people living on top of one another, there will be civilian casualties. But he's after the leaders, he's after the fighters, but most importantly, he's after the infrastructure, the launches of the rockets and missiles themselves, their depot storage areas, the entire infrastructure, as you mentioned, of the tunnel network that supports all of this activity. They don't move around on the city streets. They move around in a complex tunnel network that some people have seen it, refer to it as a city underneath a city. Yeah. So this entire infrastructure that's supporting these rocket and missile attacks is the phase that we're in now. And I think they'll stay in that phase until their intelligence services indicate to the prime minister that they've accomplished the goal they wanted. And that is a huge consequential result for these terrorist organizations in doing it. And so it's a deterrence for them doing it again.
Meanwhile, General, a different kind of attack here in the United States, a cyber attack on the Colonial Pipeline. President Biden has said it wasn't coordinated by the Russian government, but it did take place in Russia. Let's listen to President Biden.
We do not believe the Russian government was involved in this attack, but we do have strong reason to believe that the criminals who did the attack are living in Russia. That's where it came from, word from Russia.
You know, General, there are those that have suggested if it's happening in Russia, whether or not it's coordinated by the government, it's happening with the knowledge of the government. Can we parse, should we parse between hackers in Russia and hackers connected to the Russian government?
No, absolutely not. I mean, this equivocation is really disappointing by the President of the United States. I understand he doesn't have evidence, he's telling us that a Russian government hacker pulled the trigger on this attack. Let's take that at face value. But here's the other evidence that we have, and this is the part of the story that must be told. Russia is sanctioning Russian criminal hacking activity. Why is that? One, because it significantly helps them in terms of their national interest. Why? It's disrupting and undermining democratic societies, particularly, in this case, the United States. They also benefit from the intelligence value that an attack on critical U.S. infrastructure would give them if the government wanted to do that, if we were involved in conflict operations. So
you see, You see, that's why it tell you in Obadiah 1:7, man. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Hey, because these devils, man, these devils are all they do is accuse and bring accusations. This man said, Biden said you have no evidence that Russia hacked the pipeline. But you got these people pushing this. Hey, why? Because Russia is the black sheep, man. Okay, Russia is that outcast, man. Russia don't want to play ball with Babylon the Great, man. You see, that's why it tell you. That's why the Lord put them in prophecy, man. Russia will be a guard to the other nations, man. Cause these devils, which they Edomites as well, but you see, that's why the Lord says He's going to set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, man.
This equivocation should really stop. The other thing, it's well known in our national security circles that Russian government hackers moonlight and work part-time in these criminal activities.
Right.
That is an established fact.
And why they doing this with these hackers, man? Everybody know. Well, the ones that's in the know. The government know who the hackers are, man. They know who the hackers are. They got a agenda. It's called problem reaction solution, man. These things is happening on purpose, man, to bring in the next phase, man.
And an attack on a critical infrastructure and scale of this size in Russia's number one adversary, the United States, believe me, the Russian government likely okay.
Russia's number one adversary is North America, man. You heard him just say it. We all know this. Why? Because it's in the prophecies, man. It's in the scripture. It said he would draw out this northern army in Jeremiah 50. Now I'm trying to tell the one guy that came on my videos few weeks ago, whatever. Because when I brought out Joel 2:20, he talking about Russia. No, Joel 2:20 is talking about Babylon the Great's army. When you get to Jeremiah 50, that's talking about Russia's army. You see, hey, they know, man. Russia is North America's number one adversary, man, and they both are brothers, man. They both Edomites.
That attack because of the consequences of it, and Russia wanted to make certain that they understood all the implications of that kind of an attack.
And as
a result of that, here's what the president's avoiding. What you're going to ask me? What do we do about it? And he's avoiding that consequence. One, call out the Russians for sanctioning this Russian criminal activity, conduct offensive cyber attack against the criminal activity itself. I'm assuming we're already doing that because we have the capability, and that's a classified operation. Sanction the Russian oil and gas industry and go after the companies that are building the Russian pipeline to Germany that so many Europe are opposed to and the United States is opposed to. Let's hold the Russians accountable for this behavior, or it's going to continue to explode against the United States.
That was the question I was going to suggest. I hope to go in.
Now, Russia and Denmark have a pipeline, what is called the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Denmark is a part of the 10 Horns, man. But they ain't making mention about that. Hey, they want Russia, man. Russia is the adversary of Babylon the Great, man. This is this Joel chapter 50. Let me turn this volume back up. This Joel chapter, Jeremiah 50 in verse 45. It reads, therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he have taken against Babylon, and his proposes that he have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Now this will say the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. He shall make their habitation desolate with them. Israel with North Americas, man. They're going to have the same fate, man. Here's another one. Here's the other one in Jeremiah 49:20. It reads, Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord they have taken against Edom. Now, the one in Jeremiah 50 said the Chaldeans, but this one said against Edom, and his proposal that he had proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So you see what's going on is now Kamala Harris said we got to stand with Israel. But then you got the other video I just played, the last one. They talking about pulling the U.S. personnel from out of Israel. So are they standing together or what, man? That's why I tell you in Genesis 3, on thy belly shall thou go, and dust shall thou eat all the days of thy life. Everywhere these devils is at, what they control is nothing but confusion, man. It's a bunch of confusion. Now this is and they are not together, man. It's a big separation. This is Mark 3:23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. So what's going on is you got Satan going against Satan, man. Right? They all from the same family, man. Talking about these Idumeans. This is Luke 11:17. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. They falling, man. It's a separation in the same house, man. They all joined together, man, right? At the hip, at the foot, at the leg, man. Since the Greek Empire, man. They've been joined to the hip. But what's going on? The Lord is making a separation. He's showing his power, man. This is let me see. It's Proverbs 29. No, that ain't what I wanted. I want Ecclesiasticus. I think it's 21. Let's see. Ecclesiasticus 21:27. It reads, when the ungodly curseth Satan, he curseth his own soul, man. So these guys going back and forth with the same, they the same people. Now this Joel 2:20, and it reads, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate. This time about Babylon the Great's army, with his face towards the east sea, which is the Persian Gulf, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea, which is the Red Sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. Right? Babylon the Great, the harlot of all harlots. It say, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him to a land barren and desolate. How is this army will be removed? Because the least of the flock shall draw them out, man. So while we watching these guys talking about they pulling out the troops from here and pulling them from there, yeah, you pulling their ass where they finna go and lose their life at for real. Because it's prophecy, man. Babylon the Great is being drawn out by these devils over there, man, in the Holy Land. This is Obadiah chapter 1:7. So now you got Boris Johnson just came in and said, hey, y'all need to fall back. Why? Because your mother shall be so confounded at you, man. This is Obadiah 1:7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. To do what? To fight, man. To go to war. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. It say all the men of thy confederacy. When you go read Psalms 83, when you go to Jeremiah 25, it tell you about all the nations. Jeremiah 25, we're starting at verse, let me check. Jeremiah 25, starting at verse 16. No, I'm Salakia. Jeremiah 25, starting at verse 15. all the way down to verse 25, 28. So from Jeremiah 25, verse 15 down to 28, it's talking about all the nations, man. All the nations that joined the Babylon the Great. Psalms 83. Jeremiah 25 go in a little more deeper than Psalms 83. All these nations, as it said, Obadiah 1 and 7, all the men, all of them, every last one of these, and Salakia, real quick, Salakia, 1 second. It say all the men, right? Now, for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, it's 7 heads, right? You got the 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads is Germania Major, Germania Minor, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, British, the Greeks, right? The 7 heads. But now it's 30 heads. So for the European Economic Community, which is European Union, it's Belgium, Denmark, French, Italy, Luxembourg, Greece, Ireland, England, West Germany, Netherlands. That's the 10 horns. But now it's 27 horns. So you got the 30 heads and 27 horns because more nations have been joined to the 7 heads and 10 horn beasts, right? All these nations. Now, the total nations that's joined to the UN nations is 193 nations. It's 193 nations that's joined to North America through the UN. So Obadiah 1 and 7 reads, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee to the border. All of them. All these nations. It's 193 nations that joined the Babylon the Great, man. And all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee, this is a future prophecy, that were at peace with thee, have deceived thee. How? Because the Lord said in Revelation 17 and 17, they shall give their power to the beast until the words of the Lord be fulfilled. They plan this devil. And you know how Jacob put the what Jacob mean? What Yahweh, right? Supplant, man. The same way how Jacob supplanted Esau, right? That's how these nations is playing this devil, man. The Lord got these nations playing this devil. It say, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, showing this a future prophecy that the UN is going to break up, man. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. Every nation have been joined to North America. It said, they that eat thy bread. One of those ways of eating the bread of Babylon the Great is what? The petrodollar, man. Every nation had to join Babylon the Great with the petrodollar. Esau put the gun on him like, hey, you either going to get down with us or you're going to lay down. What is guy's name? Gaddafi. How they did him, man. Right? This guy, what's his Cuban guy name is? Castro, man. Everybody tried to do their own thing, man. This devil said, no, you're going to get down with us or you're going to lay down. So it say, because his blessing was to live by the sword, man. Again, it said, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there is none understanding in him. They don't understand what the play out is because it's prophecy, but it's playing out, man. The Lord got them playing out because they don't have no understanding, man. Because they live by the sword. Esau don't have a soul. He don't have a spirit. This is the serpent seed line. They are the seeds of Satan, man. They don't have a spirit. They just live by the sword, man. All they do is come to destroy, vex, and accuse, man. And they're doing it to the other nations. That's why I say in what is it, Jeremiah 51? It said the nations are mad, man. This is everybody pissed off with this devil, man. That's why I say in Isaiah 14, the nation rejoice when this devil go down, man. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. It reads, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Everybody pissed off with these devils, man. But they don't have no choice. Why? It's the Lord, man. These chess pieces is being moved, man. Strategically, man. This is Revelation 17 and 7 and 16. And then it said, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked. Now I said the 10 horns. One of the 10 horns is Denmark. Denmark and Russia have a damn Nord Stream pipeline, man. That thing's called a Nord Stream 2. You see? It said, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, which is what? Missiles. Missiles. It said the 10 horns. Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Greece, Ireland, England, West Germany, Netherlands. It's going to burn her with fire. With what? What kind of fire? Verse 17. For Yahweh Shema shall have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree. That's why I said Obadiah 1 and 7. They that eat thy bread have deceived thee. How? The Lord made them agree, man. Until what? It said, give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of power shall be fulfilled, man. The Lord put the spirit on these nations to play these devils like they with it, but they ain't with it. So now you see the spokesman for all these nations, Boris Johnson, Prime Minister for Britain. Hey, he like, hey, y'all need to chill, man. You know why? You messing up business, man. This is not how we conduct business. Babylon the Great, right, is where they make their most business from. And if we ruling the planet from Babylon the Great and y'all screwing up business, man, we're gonna have a problem. It's a problem. Babylon the Great is just a business port for all these nations, man. Going back to the elites, man. And they screwing up big time, man. Hey, so it's gonna be a separation. It's gonna be a separation. This is Isaiah 19 and 2. And it reads, and I will set the Egyptian, let's read 1. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. From what? That concentrated heat, man. Them laser beams from the chariots, man. First the missiles. But what the missiles don't destroy, Yahweh shall come and wreck everything else, man. Annihilate, man. And what you got? The alien guy that the little alien they use on Buzz Bunny, he say he come to disintegrate, man. With his P-32 modulator, man. He coming to disintegrate everything, man. Verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And this is what we seeing, man. Hey, and how is this happening? The Lord words, man. The words of Yahweh Shema Shah is destroying this world, man. It's crumbling these people, man. Everything about their life, everything that they have going for themselves is deteriorating because of the word of the Lord, man. It's being pushed over the four corners of the earth, man. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. Hey, who's going to be this fierce king? You guessed it. Whoever going to be over the bear at that time, man. The bear is coming to devour, man. We know who the bear is, man. Yeah, man. The brother say, yeah, man. The pipeline connects to Germany, and they are mad with Babylon. Yeah, man. Hey, that Ghost, I think it's called the Nord Stream to some pipeline. And that's going from and they Germany, Denmark and Russia all in that, man. So and who else they providing it to, man? The pipeline running all over. The brother said Germany, man. Listen, man. This is the Lord, man. Everything is of Yahweh Shema Shah. Yeah, man. This is and this is like the Yasha Isaiah 14:12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut to the ground, which did weaken the nations? And we understand what it's talking about, man. It's talking about them falling out of rulership, man. Why? Because y'all is not, see, that's what Jake don't understand. These devils, these Babylonians, is not conducting business right, man. And then you playing with these demons over here in the Holy Land. Y'all ain't playing business right, man. This is not how we could, what they call themselves, connoisseurs, right? They connoisseurs in drinking, they connoisseurs in shooting, right? They arsenal, how they bow and arrows and how they do the little, when you see the movies and they be shooting at the clay, right? With their little shotguns or whatever. They connoisseurs, man. We do business, man. And Babylon the Great ain't doing business how they supposed to, man. So that's what's gonna cause the mother of them so confounded. What you see, hey, they sent out Boris Johnson to speak about it, man. Hey, cause this is really boiling down. That's that Jeremiah 15:12 playing. Jeremiah 15:12, man. Your mother shall be so confounded at you, man, because this is not how we get down, man. All they're doing, it's the Lord. All they're doing is making this war. Hey, that's why things got to speed up, man. So we waiting on Jacob's Trouble, the RFID microchip, World War III, man. And a little bit is going out here, a little bit going out there. It's all playing out together, man. This is in like the Yashala, Obadiah 1:3. The pride of thy heart have deceived thee, that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Who? This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and 22. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How? They ask. How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? How? Said the Lord, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord Yahweh. The Lord Yahweh have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans, man. It's the Lord. This is another one in Isaiah 47:11. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. They ain't gonna know, man. It's gonna happen. This is Yahweh Shema Shah making moves as thieves in the night, man. And if you ain't prepared, if you ain't preparing yourself for the battle, you will be taken also, man. This is in like the Yashala, Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. What's the Lord saying right here? Hey, what he told Satan in the garden? On thy belly shall thou go, and dust shall thou eat all the days of thy life. Bring you coming back to your original habitation, which is dust, confusion, the bases of men. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate, because Babylon the Great will be destroyed, man. This is Isaiah 13:17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows their intercontinental ballistic missiles also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. You didn't spare our children. You ain't had no pity on our women. So the Lord putting the same spirit on these other nations to do you the same way. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Yahweh Shem Abishai overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah with what? Fire and brimstone. And when you read Revelation 9, right, 16 and 17, it said what? He will destroy by these three, with a third part of men killed by the fire, the smoke, and the brimstone. Same prophecy as Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah. But this is what? Intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. Let's say in Isaiah, what is it? Isaiah 95. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, man. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it dwell, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, these Ishmaelites with these damn 7-Elevens, right? And the other little spots they got. Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. The wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there. It says, Satris shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in a desolate house, and dragons in their pleasant places. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged, man. You see? That's another one. Was it Isaiah 34? Let me get that one real quick, just to read the point. No, was it I forgot where it was at right off. It was another one. It said, you should not know one place from another. But anyway, so seeing these things about to happen, man, what manner of person are you ought to be in our holy conversation, man? Because the Lord is making this place fall slow, man. Oh, let's get that. It's Isaiah 14 and verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee, man. It's total corruption, total annihilation. The worms cover thee, and the worm is spread under thee, man. The Lord is destroying Babylon the Great from the inside out, man. Inside out. The same way how he had Antiochus destroyed. Antiochus' flesh was falling from him, man. Worms was eating him. He was rotting, man. The Lord did the same thing to Herod, man. Herod was being rotten from inside out, man. That's the Lord showing his power, man. Hey, so Lord willing, this is edifying. Gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rikah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well. To all the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether they can accept it or not. And a sincere salutation to all the ark pushing this truth and believing this truth. Throughout the four ends of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. Shalom to the Akwaf who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I got one more precept I'm going to close with. It's Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Be your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. These nations that used to be weak, they're not weak anymore, man. Now, these nations are more powerful than Babylon the Great. And it tell you in Ezekiel 38 that Russia shall be a guard to each other nations. Why do you think Russia is selling Turkey and India S-400s, man? Because they're going to be a guard to other nations, man. I was going to get another precept, but yeah, that's the point, man. These nations ain't weak no more. They strong, man. And join to Russia, which is eventually, that's what's going to happen. They're going to join Russia, and they're going to shoot missiles over here. Oh, Jeremiah 50, right? It's Jeremiah 50 in verse 9. This is what it reads. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations. Now, when you go to Ezekiel 38, it tell you, he said, assemble for yourselves, these are the nations, right? Let all them come together. Shield, buckler, right? All of them having shield and bucklers, man. It said, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations. The main one's going to be Russia, Iran, China, North Korea, Turkey. They gonna come together, man. It's an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. Their arrows, their intercontinental ballistic missiles shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain, man. When we read down to verse 12, it tell you, your mother shall be sore confounded against you. She that bear you shall be sore ashamed, man. Why? Because you're not conducting business right, man. Period. Hey, so Lord willing to edify. Hey, the water for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema shall continue to bless you in your houses. Stay prayed up. Hey, the water for the precepts. I'll praise Yahweh Shema Shah. Barakathum to the argument I walk on the comment board. Shalom. Wa abad babal.